Ciao ragazzi, it's time for the final word. Chin chin. I love the fucking song.
Everybody stay close to your heart and walk at the darkness. Everybody stay close to your heart.
All right, everybody stay calm. Everybody just stay calm. Final word, match day 4, Serie A. A better feeling. The whole final word thing is meant to be the calm and collected version, but I'm amped. I'm jacked because the referees in this league are shit. And I actually enjoyed the whole we all have a common enemy discussion this morning that was going on between Interisti, Milanisti, scum. So we had us, the Milan fans and the Juve fans, all basically outlining how disappointed we are with the refereeing decision making, with a lot of banter going each and every way. I loved all the Inter fans that were, saying welcome back to the league, Juventus, which was nice. There have been some horrendous calls. Let's talk a little bit about that before we wrap up the Serie A. So, from Juve's point of view, it's the whole offside thing. And they've had like 3 goals disallowed for offside this season, and all 3 of them combined for probably a total of 3 millimeters. So, I get their frustration, but they can suck a fat one, because ever since that whole Suarez incident with them, I swear to God, every 50-50 hasn't gone their way. Not 50-50, sorry. Every time a decision should go to the other team that would usually go to them, it hasn't. Now, maybe I'm a little bit paranoid because I'm a little conspiracal like that. But the whole Suarez legal incident, and then you got Cristiano with his whole fucking I'm on my own COVID rules and regulations. Maybe I'm wishful thinking, maybe I'm staying hopeful, but, maybe there's a little bit of change coming to the integrity of the Italian league. Couldn't even get through it without laughing. Like, that's going to happen. So, Milan, on the other hand, this morning, let's go through some of the results. So, no, we'll do that in a sec. We got to start with Inters. That's the way it is. So we defeat Genoa at the Marassi 0-2 away. And I guess because I watched this game as a replay, not live, my reaction's sort of the same. I don't think we're as bad as people made it out to be, but I can see now how frustrating it is and how much poorer you tend to think that we play when you're watching it live. It is so frustrating to watch. Watching it back, we actually controlled the tempo the whole game. It's just our creativity and our lack of execution in the final third in the first half was abysmal. But, sorry, make sure quality's alright. Let's see if I can get the brightness up a little. Nah, that's ugly. So, the win is a good one because in context for the rest of the Serie A, everybody's still dropping points. And, if you take away Juventus' best game of the season, which was a 3-0 win against Napoli, then they're shit. And they really barely had a decent result so far. That means they'd pretty much just be on one authentic win with a couple of draws to Verona and Crotone with a game in hand to play against Napoli, which I still think they will fight and they will win eventually, which will be even more disturbing for Juventus if they have to take away the points later on in the season. But this is just another example of the FIGC getting it off way too quickly for them. We'll see what happens there. I could eat my words later. Not like I haven't eaten my words about them every single day for the last how many years I've been an Inter fan. It's nice to see Juventus dropping points and not playing great. However, I still think that we are going to rue not signing Dejan Kulusevski more than Sandro Tonali. Now, I was a huge Tonali fan. Everybody knows I had the hard on for Tonali. Not as hard as Barella, but I'm starting to see why we didn't sign him. Not anything against him. It's just that if he's not walking into this Milan team as a starter under Pioli, then he sure as hell isn't walking into shit under Antonio Conte. No way. No way. Man would not have got a minute yet this season. We could still use him though. That would have been for sure, because that leads me on to the next topic of professional glassman Stefano Sensi. Now apparently he's aggravated something in his adductor again, and there's nothing that's really showing up on the tests. It's more so that he's just feeling a pain. It's a tough one because I've known a couple of people before that this has happened to in real life. It's starting to make me sympathize a tiny bit, but I don't want to do that because I've already talked a lot of shit about Sensi and the fact that he can't string together 1 minute of football. Ridiculous. If we had a fit, informed Sensi in this team, forget it, man. Forget it with him and Barella and Eriksson or Vidal on pitch at the same side. Absolutely forget it. I'm starting to feel like we're not going to get to see that. But it's still very, very early. There's a lot of football to be played. Milan's run came to an end. And it's a good thing to see because their fans were getting way too chirpy. Way too chirpy. Zlatan's still bringing the fire, but not for the whole game, I still don't think. It's just, they're a weird one. Milan this season kind of remind me a little bit of Inter under Spalletti in a sense that we kind of come out of the gates looking half decent in the first half, but we couldn't hold a lead at all under Spalletti. I could never celebrate going a goal up against Spalletti. Ever. Ever. And then that would always end in a draw or worse. So I think they're a little bit similar to there in a sense that they can't really defend a lead. Every time I've watched them this season and they've gone into a lead, they have looked very suspect and they have conceded. But more often than not coming away with the result. Yeah, so in context to what it does to the rest of the Serie A, you have Atalanta as well, who surprisingly dropped points to Sampdoria. Who would have expected that? They lost comprehensively, and with Lazio picking up 3 points again, you know, I still maintain what I said at the start of the season. It's going to be very close. So close. From that 3rd to 6th to 7th position, it's going to be so close. Parma Spezia was a bit of a good game. I didn't catch any of that, obviously, but with the hours that it was on. But, you know, Parma needing to get 3 points against these lower level sides, and they're just not doing it. And the reason I'm bringing that up now is that because that's our next opponent in the league. So we've got to grab 3 points again there. And with us playing Shakhtar Donetsk midweek, you know, it's a good chance for rotation. Maybe against Parma, we see the likes of Alexis Sanchez come back. Raja Nainggolan might get a fair few minutes in there as well. Pinamonti might get some minutes. We'll have to see about that. So Parma not looking that great. In fact, looking quite bad this season. So we've got to get the 3 points there next week. That is a must if we are going to go on and try and push for this Scudetto this season. What else happened? I can remember the results off the top of my head. Napoli gets 3 points against Benevento. Napoli looking the goods, like a grindy team, like a team that really wants to show this season that last season was a one-off, that first half of the season, and with a full season under Gattuso with minimal injuries, players like Osimhen and Insigne firing, they just still look good. You know, Dries Mertens always looks good over there, and I think being able to hang on to the likes of Koulibaly, it just showed once again that they've still got ambition, and I really hope once again that they end up getting those 3 points, even though De Laurentiis is an idiot. He's a freaking idiot. Should have known. Yeah, Lazio defeated Bologna. I already said that. What else happened? What happened to Fiorentina? Yeah, Fiorentina got the win, I think, against Udinese. Udinese are now looking like a shoo-in. Not a shoo-in, but like they look like they could get relegated for sure. Someone comment down below how long it's been since Udinese has been relegated from Serie A, because I'm almost ready to say that I haven't seen them get relegated in the time that I've been following the league. I could be wrong. I remember them quite vividly making the Champions League and Vincenzo Iaquinta netting a couple of times in there. And then his career going downhill straight after that with some mafia ties in Calabria. But yeah, the Udinese, if they do go down, it'll be really unfortunate for especially Rodrigo De Paul, who's a cut above everybody else in their team. And I really thought he was going to get a move. They might have been wise to cash in on him. I mean, I know he's their star player and all, but maybe you cash in on De Paul, you get 3 or 4 hungry players that are willing to join the club, and you scout them well, then maybe you avoid relegation. But it'll be really hard for them to avoid relegation now. They're just going to have to try and grind out results against teams in the bottom half of the league, in my opinion there. They weren't terrible, but they weren't going to win. And Fiorentina under Iacchini, I'm not too sure how to say his name, finally, starting to find their groove a little bit. Life without Federico Chiesa. I don't think they'll miss him too much. And the worst that he does at Juventus, or his lack of playing time, I think it'll make the fans from Florence, a little bit happy. But overall, a good match day for Inter, in a sense that the likes of Atalanta, Milan, Roma, and Juventus all drop points. We'll have to see where it goes from here in terms of next week. There's a few tough games on for our rivals, but I look forward to checking in then. So that's it for the final word for another week. 3 points. That's easy. That's too easy to do this. Ciao ragazzi.